on the State of the Union, he said illegals. This is Joe Biden playing damage control over that. Now let's listen.
I noticed the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber. You saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look.
So, do you call elevating your number of deportations? Do you call that being respectful, Joe Biden? Like, do you call funding ICE more? You call that being respectful? Do you call the executive order that you want to sign to basically eliminate asylum? So, Nick, what happened during the State of the Union is that the speech was for the white suburban soccer mom, the Fox viewer, the Nikki Haley supporter. That's what the speech was for. So he wanted to say illegals in that speech. That was purposely put in by a speechwriter. Do you know how many times they went over this speech? Nobody in his camp would go, hey, maybe we should not say illegals. You think that really happened, people? That did not happen. That was on purpose. So guess what? Guess who got to hear him? Guess how many people got to hear him say, call them illegals? Tens of millions. Guess who's hearing him say, oh, I shouldn't have said that. You know how many people watch MSNBC, Nick? Not even 1 million people. Okay? So you got to ask yourself, who is it for and what is he really about? But the reason I wanted to play this, Nick, and then I'll pass to you for your comment, because I don't think I've heard your comment or your opinion on what he's doing with immigration and his executive order and all of that stuff. Because when you're thinking of Palestine, you're losing Black people, you're losing people of color, you're losing progressives, you're losing young people. So you see the polls, Nick, and then they go, oh, let's lose some more people up part of our coalition. Let's do something on immigration to lose their coalition. Nick, I'm starting to believe that they want Donald Trump to get elected. This doesn't make any other sense. Now, I don't have it well thought out to be like, why would they want Trump? But they
need him to say corporate media ratings.
That could be it. That could be
corporate media ratings. Before I chime in, I want you guys to look at the screen and see that what genocide does to you. It turns you to a fucking demon looking motherfucker. Like, if I was a child and I saw this guy at night, I would scream. Like, that's a monster. That is what a demon like. You see his eyes all black eyes. That's what happens to you when you committed many crimes that this guy has done. When you are evil at Jim Crow Joe. Now, one thing I'm gonna say regarding him calling this person illegal is I think this is actually him. You know what I mean? You may be right that it may be planned, but I think like Joe Biden is not like caught up on the hip left ideology. He's a fucking segregationist, unhinged, capitalist, genocidal monster who pretend to he virtue signal to them. He pretend he understands their language and their culture, but he does not. So if he's speaking to his own class in an open exchange, he will say illegal because that's who he is. Like, I'm sure he said the N-word with the hard ER quite a few times. But now, one thing I want to say, and this is why I never had Trump derangement syndrome. And this is why I don't understand why people pretend like the border is open, like they do every single election fucking year. It's funny, every election year the border opens up. Isn't that funny? And people pretend like this is a new issue. Like, you guys remember how Barack Obama was called the deporter in chief? I know Americans got memories that only last like a week. But I remember a man called the deporter in chief, and people pretend this is a new issue. And people pretend that the Democratic Party support open borders. Repeat after me, my friend. Joe Biden deported more people in 1 year than Donald Trump did in 4. deported more Haitian people in a few months than Donald Trump did in 4. He saw Barack Obama, the deporter in chief, being like, "Sir, that's amateur shit." So he really believes in this ideology, and it shows in the way he talked. And that is weird. And Caitlin Johnstone had a banger. I'll pass it right to you. She had a banger of a tweet that she sent earlier this morning, where she said it's funny to watch Republicans attack Biden because his biggest weakness is the genocide that he's obviously supporting, but they got to find everything else to attack him on because they agree with the genocide that he's supporting. So they got to make up bullshit. Biden and Trump and MAGA, they have the same fucking policies. They believe in the same capitalist agenda, the same anti-China agenda. Trump is already sound like an unhinged Russian maniac, anti-Russian maniac. So they got to make up shit. They got to pretend that this 80-year-old fucking man, this segregationist, is some sort of fucking woke, purple-haired social justice warrior who cares about trans people, who they make up all these culture war. This guy, he just, in his late age, his tender age, he all of a sudden for open borders. He deported a ton of people. All of a sudden, he opened it right before election season. You guys see, I don't have tolerance for stupid shit. That's the kind of stupid shit that people have been feeding you guys with a serious face. But go ahead, CJ. You can continue.
Yeah, we're not reading this article, just the headline to just kind of drive home the point of how he's coming out and he regrets calling them illegal, and maybe he regrets it just for the backlash. But it's still like, even every time I think of these stories, it's still astonishing to me that Joe Biden is taking these stances that is literally destroying the coalition that he built up, I guess, in 2020. But moving on, he still can't escape the protest, Nick. And not just the protests in the streets, everywhere he goes, he's getting protested on. I just wanted to show a couple of brief angles of this latest protest. He was in Georgia, and then this person protested him. This is Breakthrough News. Breakthrough News, yeah, this is their video.
You're the dictator, do genocide, Joe! Tens of thousands of Palestinians!
Nick, could you imagine being the people that's booing? You're booing, so somebody stands up and say, "Hey, slavery's wrong! Stop enslaving those people! Stop raping the women!" And they get up, boo! 4 more years. You know how deranged these people have to be, but it's to your point. We are the most propagandized people on the planet. I'm starting to believe ever in existence of the human species, because this is insane that you are here advocating against the people who are saying, "Hey, can you stop this genocide, please? We really don't want to have to deal with this." But
there was peasants during the medieval era. I always say the United States is the most propagandized country in the world, but I remember there was peasants in the medieval era who was very hostile to people who was anti-monarchy. And whenever the monarchy will feel pain, they will personally feel pain. I still believe they're the most propagandized people in the world. And I remember I was reading the French Revolution. I'm not trying to put back on I'm just giving my opinion. I remember the French Revolution. There were these like very hardcore monarchists. There was like rural people, very conservative. They're like, if the king feels pain, I feel pain. And they got violent towards revolutionaries. I think we're getting close to that level, fam. I think those people are like the most, because if you know, and I'm not going to go into history rant, but you guys know the evils the monarchy inflicted on the people, right? Right? I don't have to talk about that, right? So considering how evil the monarchy has been to these people, considering that these motherfuckers willing to die for them, that's some intense ass propaganda. We were getting close though. We were getting so close to the point where people show up to these leaders' events, and I'm not pushing back on your claim, because I think there's legitimacy in there, because we're like that close. Like if you was to tell me to put a gun to my head, who are the most propagandized people? Those medieval peasants who love the kings. Those people showed up to Biden events. They show up to these events like they're showing up to a rock star celebrity event to protect them against anti-genocide protesters. That's almost as bad as it gets, to your point. But let's continue. I don't want to hijack it too much.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just now. This is a slightly different angle, and I wanted you so you can hear what he has been trained to say, what his team has come up with, how to react to the protests, so they don't seem repressive. I guess that's what that's their point. But
I say thank you.
This is how the convention is going to be.
Oh, I can't wait. I think I'm going, CJ.
I'm trying to go too. I'm trying to go too. But let's finish it.
Last time we had a kid on. I think we said we're gonna do it like a live. We're gonna try to do the first ever post duopoly show live.
Man, that'd be dope.
Dude,
and I really gotta think. I at least a weekend, couple of days. At least
we got plenty of time. We got to August. I was like, bro, I got a few months to plan. And after we came up with the idea, like, bro, I got plenty of time. I would make plans to save some money. If I got a few months to save, so I would definitely do that. Because if you can make it, that's great. If you can't, we get it. I know you're pretty busy, but we're definitely trying to make that happen. One more thing I want to say before you continue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I found it. This is one of the videos. One of the many tweets. I'll put this as briefly.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm glad that a lot of people are starting to notice this. We said this months ago, about a year ago. Ever since these protests really ramped up. But I'll read this tweet because it kind of sums up what I'm thinking right now. The 4 more year chance in response to Biden being heckled for enabling a genocide is fucking dire, disturbing people. And remember the mass genocidal psychosis that I was telling you guys about?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about writing thinking about making a return to Substack. And I think I'm gonna write an article about the mass genocidal psychosis that our society been inflicted with, and that's what that is. Your reaction, and that's why, like, bro, technically that doesn't even make sense. Because think about it, even technically, even if someone accuses your boy of genocide, and then you guys say 4 more years, so that gives the illusion of you guys saying 4 more years of genocide.
Right.
It doesn't even make sense politically, but they still do it because they can't help themselves. I'll put your stuff back up, CJ. They can't even help themselves. It's a horrible look, and they just in the moment they don't realize how bad it is. And it will be one thing if you've seen this at one campaign event, 2 campaigns events, but every single Democrat that gets protested, you see the chant breaks out. And remember what we said about over a year ago, CJ, on the Nick and CJ show, how this is definitely a Democrat strategy to counter protests. Yes. It's something they developed. It's not like a spontaneous 4 more years. There are plants in the audience. And in the plants in the audience, the DNC plants, they start to chant. And then all you need is that. I'm a wrestling fan. I watch pro wrestling. The chants, all you need a few people, and then the rest
started.
Four more years. 4 more years. I don't know. Shit, I heard something else start. That's what they do. It's a planned thing. And we got to realize that this is the message of the Democrat Party. 4 more years of genocide. But let's continue, CJ.
Yeah, just finishing out. There's only a few more seconds to see the rest of the protesters.
Look, thank you. Look, I don't resent his passion. There's a lot of Palestinians who are being unfairly victimized. I want to say thank you.
That's a total strategy, but that's I don't want to belabor the point.